Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. So we got a little bit of news. The Washington football team has released wide receiver Steven Sims, so we'll talk about that in today's video and how it affects the rest of the wide receiver room, including receivers AGG, Dax Milne, and DeAndre Carter. I'll also give you guys an injury update on Dyami Brown, Sammis Reyes, and also Cameron Curl. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. I'm almost to 6,000 subscribers, so please help me get there. So let's get right into the video. Alright, so let's start off with the Steven Sims Jr. news, and then after that, we'll get into those injury updates. And, for the most part, it is good news on all three of those guys. So like I said, it was reported earlier today, and sorry for getting this out, but Washington released wide receiver Steven Sims, and also they activated David Sharp off the COVID list. So, to get David Sharp on the roster, to activate him, they had to cut someone, and they ended up cutting wide receiver Steven Sims. So, unfortunate for Steven Sims, and, the Washington football team has to cut, I believe, 5 more players before tomorrow at 4 p.m. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. I'll read the rest of the tweet from John Kine. Sims looked like someone who could still help a team, but was always going to be tough for him to win a job here. So like I said, unfortunate for Steven Sims, but I think we all knew the writing was on the wall, especially after last season. There was some hype coming into, during training camp. He was playing really well, and at one point, there was a chance that he could have been the 7th receiver, to make the roster, but especially, after didn't really do much in the first preseason game. He had one catch, but besides that, didn't do much, and in the second game, didn't do anything at all except for drop a pass, that would have been a big gain. So that definitely didn't help him. And by releasing him right now, Steven Sims gets an opportunity to sign with another team. I think he's too talented not to get another opportunity right away. Like, I think he will get claimed off of waivers. He's just super talented, and it's really unfortunate. Let's just talk about, real quickly, him as a player before we get to how this affects the wide receiver room. I mean, he just, in that rookie year, he was really, really good in that second half. The first 8 games, they really didn't use him that much. But in the second half of the season, Washington started to involve him a lot more in the offense, and he really started to take off. He had about, 310, he had 310 yards receiving, had 4 touchdowns, also was involved in the run game a little bit, had 85 total yards rushing, and ran a kick return back for a touchdown. So he had a really good rookie season. I know the yards don't look like much, but in the limited opportunity that he had, he was really good, and he finished off the year really strong. Like, he was averaging like 50 or 60 yards receiving a game for the last few games, and he had a touchdown in all those games. And his route running was amazing. He was pretty elusive, and he didn't really have that much trouble catching the football in 2019. But in 2020, start off the year, the first couple games, pretty solid. I think he had 50 or more yards in both of those games, and with very limited amount of targets. And then he had that toe injury, was out for a while, and then after that, he just was not the same player he was in 2019. Wasn't as, explosive, and, wasn't as good of a route runner, and just the drops just really, really killed us. He was still a good route runner, but really the drops were what killed us, especially also his ball security in, during punt returns also cost us games as well. I mean, he had one in the Cardinals game, he had one in the Panthers game, returned back for a touchdown, and a couple others just that really, really hurt Washington. And I just think that, Washington's coaching staff just didn't trust him after that. And, he still had a drop in the preseason game, and also had some drops in it's not a team in the NFC East, because I do think he is talented. Maybe a new situation will help him out, but I just really never thought he was going to make this roster. And I think, real quick, let's talk about give you guys an injury update, because I know you guys want that, and then we'll talk about how this affects the other guys. So real quick with the injury update, Sammis Reyes is back in uniform, and so is Tamarick Hemingway. They are both in the concussion protocol. So good to hear that those guys are back. Really good news right there, especially Sammis Reyes. I want to see, him play this week. I think he will play. Give him another shot to show his improvement and show what he's got, and he has a chance to make this roster. I don't think Tamarick Hemingway will make it, but who knows? He only played in one preseason game. That was not a good showing at all. Let's see if it changes in this last one. And then Dyami Brown and Cameron Curl were not at practice today because of an illness, not, COVID related. So that's good news right there. Casey Toohill still not in pads, and Khalid Cousin wasn't there. And then Curtis Samuel still isn't doing these drills. So, not too concerning yet, but I think, hopefully at least 1 or 2 times this week he is, at practice fully, like going through these 11v11 drills, because we are a couple weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks away from the regular season. So it would be nice if we can see him getting some work, especially with quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick. So really good news on the injury front right there, and Cameron Curl and Dyami Brown should be back in the next few days. So how this affects the wide receiver room, well, I think now really there is a very, very good chance that Antonio Gandy Golden makes this roster as the 6th receiver. I think he will make this roster. After that, that's where we don't know. I think DeAndre Carter has the edge if we do keep 7 receivers for him to make it as that punt returner / kick returner. But Washington has a couple options. They could try, because Jaret Patterson did solid as, the kick returner. They have a couple other players that can do that as well. They can also try Jaret Patterson as punt returner. Also, I really think if you cut DeAndre Carter, Isaiah Wright, and maybe even Dax Milne, they're going to make it to the practice squad. Dax Milne, that's debatable. He could or could not be. But you're going to get 2 out of those 3 guys at the very minimum are going to make the practice squad. And with the practice squad rules, you're able to call up 2 guys a week. Or no, you're able to call up, 2 practice squad players a week to get your roster to 55. And they're able to play 2 games during the season before you officially bring him onto the roster. So they could do that for a while until an injury happens, or they could also just keep Dax Milne or DeAndre Carter as that 7th guy unless someone else steps up. Because if Jaret Patterson can be that punt returner and kick returner, that would be amazing. Adam Humphries is a possible punt returner. I just don't think it's going to happen because he's super fragile, especially in the last few years. Danny Johnson has that, ability to be a punt returner, kick returner. Honestly, we don't need a flashy guy. We just need a guy that can fair catch it and, occasionally get a nice return if it's open. But we just don't want any fumbles, and we've had that, especially last year with Steven Sims. So hopefully that does improve this year. Whoever we get, I think it will be an improvement over last year. So that's pretty much it for today's video. Release Steven Sims. I think AGG will make the roster as the 6th receiver. We'll see though with DeAndre Carter or Dax Milne if one of those guys make the roster. And yeah, we'll see if Steven Sims does get picked up and if he gets claimed by waiver. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on your post notifications so you never miss a video. Peace, guys.